Here's a scary thought. By the time you hear this episode, we could have yet another countdown on Taylor Swift's website. You just never know. Welcome to the 1 Hour, One Brain Cell podcast. I'm realizing it didn't fill the whole screen, and that's my bad, but I don't know what format that was in. But we do have a new look for the show this week
It
if
was
you're
in the
listening on
letterbox
audio.
format,
Yeah, I
it
don't know
was
what happened. I
like
just
very
took a.
cinematic,
Thank you. Yeah,
very
that wasn't what
cinematic
I was
Wes
going for.
Anderson format.
It wasn't what I was going for. I just took I don't know why it did that because I took a raw recording that we had saved for the file
hmm
size and just layered it over top of that. But that was Richie's first time seeing that intro. So, what are your thoughts? Thoughts, feelings, emotions?
I loved it. That was great, great work. There were some like deep cuts in there. Like, how the hell did you go and find that? Uh, so well done. I like it a lot.
Thank
You
you.
kept the music our very popular theme tune, which I think
Hmm.
you walk down the street, everybody's humming that theme tune. So
I'm attached to our random royalty-free stock music. Yeah.
it's good.
Uh,
I like it. It's very jazzy.
yes, it's grown on me. Every time we go away for a little bit and then we come back, I forget how
Yeah.
much I like that stupid little song. Yeah. Uh, yeah, it was. The funny thing is, like, you and I have both, we've talked about it on the stream, but we've also talked about it in person that we've made a conscious effort to bring in more footage so that this project would be easier for me. And I tell you what, I still ran out of footage. Like, there still was not enough. I had to go back and get videos of you from the Indy 500. I had to go back
hmm
and put Pizza Rat in there because I was like, I just simply don't have enough content. I gotta fill this out.
And yeah, well, next time, well, we missed our chance. We could have done so much more, but you couldn't move in your costume, so
Not very
and
well.
you
Yeah,
yeah, and so you didn't have access to your phone as much, and so
that's that's
couldn't
drag,
do
honey.
we couldn't do the content, but that's okay.
Well, the good news is now that I have this done and I have it filled out and I have the template, if we get clips we like, I can just go in and
Yeah,
swap them. We can have sort of a rolling and evolving intro over the
yes,
seasons, as it were.
right,
Yeah. When should we change to a new season? We go like 100 episodes and then just arbitrarily be like, nope, season two.
right, yeah.
There's no rhyme or reason for it.
The it's the no, we don't have seasons here. It's just like um I'm trying to think of like a TV show that like doesn't have seasons or whatever. Like a late night show. Late nights they don't really have new seasons. They just keep going. And they
Yeah.
occasionally revamp like their set or their intro, etc., etc. That's kind of what we are. We're like a
Hmm.
late night show for the internet.
Well, I'll tell you who doesn't have multiple seasons is Late Night with Deborah Vance, unfortunately.
Yeah. R.I.P. Spoiler alert.
We're never getting that back again. Thanks, Bob. Okay. Okay. We got some rapid fire stuff to get to this week before we get into the meat and potatoes and ice soup of the week. Let's talk about. We were just talking about this before we got on the air, but I want to talk about your. What's your auctioneer experience
Oh
lately?
yeah.
What have you been doing? What have you been selling?
Okay, so I've become addicted to the app known as Whatnot. Whatnot is basically like a live auction website, and you can buy pretty much anything on there. I've spent like hundreds of dollars on vinyl on there because I've found so many good deals on there, and so I did that. I found a NASCAR diecast like Whatnot web show, and they have a bunch of NASCAR diecasts, and they sell that. And then I was like, you know what? Because I was at my parents' house recently, and I was like, I need to go and find all my old comics because they've just been lying around in storage. And so I went and I found like more comic books than I could even think of. And so I was like, you know what? all of these are like 10 plus years old. They're all from like when I was in college, when I was reading into comics a lot, and I was like, some of these could be worth some money, some not. So I have put some aside to go get graded, like professionally, and they put them in the thing anyway. And so
Sure.
like
Yeah.
go get those and hope. And some of those, if you get them graded, worth 100 like over 100 plus bucks. A lot of the ones I want to go get graded. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get those graded, and I'm going to fund the grading on my comic book sales. So I've been selling all my old comic books on Whatnot recently, and I managed to make. Kid you not, I did 2 streams. I did like one for an hour first night, and I did 3 hours the second night. I made almost $100 in sales
Dude.
across 2 nights.
Dude.
It's
So much more profitable than online bingo. What the hell?
yeah, exactly. And so like just to give you an idea, like what I was like doing, I had this entire bucket
Yeah.
full of comic books. And so I don't know, you can probably fit 40 or 50 in there, gone. Did not expect to sell all of them like that, and I did. And so I was like telling people on the last stream, like, I'm sold out. I got nothing left until next week. And so yeah, very successful so far. I enjoy it. And they did a thing on like if you're a new seller that they will match your funds if you up to $150. So they gave me I made $98 in sales, and so they matched that $98. So I made almost $200.
Look at that.
So
All
get
right.
on it, baby. Come on down. Come join. Come find me on the Whatnot app. You can find me, and if you want some comic books, I got plenty for sale.
Right on.
I do mean plenty, a lot, hundreds.
All right. I mean, we talked about this before, but I'm gonna get on there with a burner account and just like
Yes.
be disruptive the whole time. But but sure, yeah. You can follow Richie for productive things if you want, or you can just come derail his stream along with me, which is probably why he's not gonna tell me the next time that he's on.
No.
Yeah.
Nope. I'm
Not
just
a
gonna do it
chance.
after you go to bed, so that way.
That could be any time though. That's a threat. That's variable. That's variable. I was up until like 11:30 last night because I started watching the show and I like got invested. I was like one more episode and then it was like 11:30. I'm like, wait,
That's past
this
your
is new for
bedtime.
me.
What were you doing up so late?
I said I was watching a series. I was watching Grotesquerie, the one that Travis is in.
Oh,
It's like it's not American Horror Story, but it's like the same creator as American Horror Story, so
mm-hmm.
it's a Ryan Murphy show. So it's very much like in the same vein, but I like got addicted to the first couple of episodes of it, and then there's just this like big twist that occurred, and I don't know if I liked it or not, but I'm already like 7 of 10 episodes in, so I might as well just finish the dang thing at this point. But I won't spoil anything for you, but if you watched it, you know. And
What's it
honestly,
on?
Travis's acting is not bad. It was on FX when it aired, so it'll probably be on whatever that
Hmm.
streaming thing is, but I think it's on Disney Plus and Hulu. That's where I found it.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
All right, good to know.
yeah. Yep. Very much in the same vein as like early American Horror Story, which are the better seasons if you know anything
Right.
about that
Yeah.
show. If you know, you know. Okay. We also had a speaking of Travis and Taylor, accidental segue because before we recorded, actually we recorded last week before the New Heights episode dropped.
Mm-hmm.
And we sort of accidentally predicted that like we would get Taylor talking about football and all kinds of other things that were not the album. I was not expecting 10 minutes of sourdough bread content, but that's what we got. And we also got the formal album cover release and the release date, which is October 3rd, which is also Mean Girls Day, so very easy to remember for those of us in the know. And since all of that has occurred, we've also got a second vinyl cover. We have some CD variants. We have tons of Tate variant, Tate Capitalism things. And the internet has been running wild with the most recent vinyl cover, to say the least. Are we calling it? We're calling it the Taylor's butt cover. We called it something different in our chat, but that's not exactly appropriate. Yeah, the Taylor's butt cover. But look, to full disclosure, game recognizes game. If you or I took a really good photo of ourselves, where like you're looking hot in it, you're like, shoot, yeah, I would put this everywhere, right? That's what like post it. She's like, yeah, I look
Post
great.
it.
Post it. Post it.
Post it.
So she did. She posted it. She post-it noted it all over the. It was purple. There was a purple and a green.
Purple.
This time around, and I love it. I respect the commitment to it, but it does make it really hard to. I think we've settled on orange for this era, but
Yes.
like it does make it difficult to nail down a proper color the more colors we keep being fed.
Right.
So I'm not sure I love that. But and I also don't love orange. Please don't make an orange cardigan, Taylor, cuz look at what color I am. That would be so bad on me. Please, Taylor.
I did like the orange pressing though. That's the first one that she put out. I like that one, so we'll be getting that one. If I had $1 for every orange pressing variant I had, I'd have $2.
We'd have $2. And for every weirdly, for every orange glitter pressing we have,
Yes.
we'd have $2.
Yes.
Yeah. Strange. Strange how that works. I was thinking the same thing. Like, wait a minute.
She sold out of those both like super quick too. They are now not available on her website.
And they're already up for resale because of course they are.
Jeez.
Yeah. But I think the funniest thing to come out of it is that people have been photoshopping that picture into things like she's throwing a block for Travis
Yeah.
or she's holding up the Leaning Tower of
The
Pisa.
Leaning
Like
Tower of Pisa, that was my favorite.
there was one with two of her and Sabrina Carpenter in the middle. Have you ever tried this one? Like just people are wild and I love it. I really do. There's something very funny about all that. And I can't wait to see what the next one's gonna be.
I would just like to point out that I called it last week. I was like, there are gonna be like 25 million people watching, and we got like in the first 24 hours, and it was like I think it was like 15 million or something in the first 24 hours, and there were like 1.3 million people were watching the live stream.
Yeah, it was like it was approaching 2 at most points throughout the actual live stream, which is crazy. And also, I don't think the majority of those people will be back for a future episode. So, like,
No, absolutely not.
enjoy your ad revenue while you got it, I guess.
But yeah, I liked the episode. It was a cool episode. I thought it was my favorite part was when she was talking about the process of getting her master's back, and the kind of business side of things. I found that to be fascinating because we don't really hear her talk about that very often, in depth at least. And so to hear that from her was awesome, and like how involved her parents were and her brother was, and how like much of a family business it is for them. I thought was fascinating. And then I was cackling laughing because I was driving home when it was premiering, so I had my phone open up on YouTube listening to it that way while I was driving home. And I was like dying laughing that she was like, yeah, you know, I don't remember if it was her mom, her brother, whoever called her and was like, hey, the deal is done. And then she was like, so I went to go tell Travis, and Travis was playing video games. I was like, oh, so when she says,
When she drops the Grand Theft Auto reference, it was
yeah,
real life.
it was real. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. She's been telling us. Green flag Travis, though, that he was like, nope, gotta go. Took off the headset
See you
and was
later,
like, what do you
boys.
got to tell me? Yep. Yeah, that was fun. Props also massively. Like, I'm sure he was given some talking points, but real props to Jason for hosting and sort of
Yeah.
like moderating the whole thing, because there were some really great questions to your point about things that we've probably all been wondering for a long, long time, but haven't really got any elaboration on.
Yeah.
Or even just, as far as like, hey, what did you do between shows? Like, how taxing was this on you physically? Or, insight onto the tour logistics, insight into the business side of things, and all of that, where it really did feel like we were being given insider information.
Yeah.
And it was such a strange outlet to have that come from, to be from a football podcast.
Yeah.
But you know what? Here we are. Here we are.
Right.
And I do still love that the Kelsey kids think that cats are poisonous, and she's actively trying to rectify that.
That was pretty funny. Um, Also, I thought it was great that when she was explaining the making of this album, Life of a Showgirl, that she was like, that she was flying back and or going back and forth to Sweden in the middle of a tour to
Yeah.
record this album that nobody knew about, and that she's back working with Max Martin and Shellback, who from 1989 era, from Reputation era, from Red era, like some of her most popular banger songs, and she went back to the both of them exclusively for this record. I'm like, I'm so pumped, man. I'm so pumped. I love. Don't get us wrong. We love Jack. We love Jack. We love Aaron Dessner.
We love Jack and Aaron. Yep.
But yeah. So less beat boops on this album, maybe? Question mark.
We're still gonna have synth. I'm gonna be disappointed if we don't have synth, but we might have less Jack synth and more
More
Max
Swedish
Martin and
synth.
Shellback.
Yeah,
Swedish
more
synth. Yeah.
a Swedish synth.
Avicii.
More ABBA.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy. But I think it's gonna be good. It is baffling to me that someone I drafted in fantasy football last year has heard the entirety of Taylor Swift 12 Before the World. That evolution of things is still incredible in my mind. But it does come out October 3rd, and an early birthday gift for my dad. So I'm sure he'll enjoy that as the world's biggest Taylor Swift advocate. I forget what he said when I texted him about it. I was like, hey, great news. Taylor got you a birthday gift. And I think he just said, let's see, so fortunate. Mm-hmm. Makes sense, right? Okay. Well, we were served a wonderful gift in the form of that this past week, but you and I potentially did not have the greatest time serving up dishes and content in our first playthrough of PlateUp, which I will need to cut together a supercut at some point when we get some more hours in the game. But
Yeah.
we had some good stuff for our first experience. If you want to talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, first of all, I'm glad that like the first 30 minutes of us trying to figure this thing out don't exist and were deleted.
I'm really not. I locked into the game and then I forgot to hit, save or like share content and save the previous
Yeah.
60 minutes or something. I only remembered once we were probably like an hour and a half into the dang thing.
But hey, I would like to point out that we eventually got it figured out, and we started to like we got better at it, but we can't get past like one particular level. But like we're getting there. I think we're figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
First, it's not our fault that we keep failing at the one level. It's just they don't give you enough space to fit enough people in, and so you can't get the people get pissed at waiting outside, and we can't. And so it's not our fault, man. Just be more patient.
I do think what was our record? We got to like day 6, I think.
Day 5 or 6.
And I do think that this game would be far more conducive with more players. I think eventually you and I are going to hit a point where like the curve of our ability to progress is it's just not going to, we're not going to be able to go any further because 2 people is not enough to run that system, right?
Can
like,
we hire another chef?
Right, like if we had a 3rd player or a 4th player, we could be moving things more effectively and we would be able to get more people in the door and whatever. So the conditions at which you fail this, and I don't know if you know, but the audience can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's very similar to Overcooked, but I think in Overcooked you're allowed to have a couple of like failures or unhappy guests before it quits you.
Mm-hmm.
This game, if you fail one guest, game over. If you don't let somebody in the door and they lose their patience, one person, game over. So there is no room for error here. And that maybe is the limiting factor, I think, about only having two people. So I think if we had a bigger map and we had like three or four individuals, we could really get it running. But we did eventually get a pretty good system down, I think.
Eventually, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was laughing when I texted you because I think I said this, but I would not have been surprised to find out that that very first level that we struggled so hard on actually did have an order window and we just didn't know it. And I went back and I was looking through the footage, and you want to know why I think that might actually be the case?
Yeah.
Because the second level had an order window and we actively went around it the entire time.
Oops.
I was watching us ignore it because we just didn't know. It was like in the corner and it's like the same color as some of the countertops and stuff. So I just don't think we noticed that it was there.
Yeah.
So I'm very sure that we probably botched that on the first level
I am
as well.
bummed that the people don't get to see the bum ass back room that we had to deal with
My
for a
God.
while.
It was so horrible. Like, imagine the worst floor plan you've ever seen and then stick a dead room right in the middle of it. And that was the entry and exit to the kitchen in our restaurant, which we started out serving steak, and we were called Happy Grillmore. And then I believe we pivoted to the Leaning Tower of Pizza. I wish I could take credit for those names, but they were game generated.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did I call our party? Better plate than never.
Yes.
I did come up with a nice party name for us. I love naming our audio parties just ridiculous things. What were we? We were Scuderia Papa Francesco one time
Yes.
for
That was a good
for
one. Yeah.
F1. Yeah, it was a really great time. So we'll have content forthcoming for you about that. We don't have enough yet. Shocker.
Have the bleep button ready.
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, shocker. Like, we don't have enough content for this thing that we promised. Oops. Story of the podcast. We're working on it. We're working on it. We should. I really do think we should do a charity PlateUp stream. I think that would get the folks in.
That'd be funny. Yeah. I need to clean up my language though. I can't say the bad things I was saying.
It's fine. It was funny. It was fun. It probably would drive engagement if we did. Fully uncensored, unedited, 24-hour ultimate PlateUp run for charity. Stay tuned.
The amount of Celsius and Red Bull you and I would need to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if that would be good for us. I don't know if it'd be good for us. I also don't know if it'd be possible. That would be crazy. Okay, let's talk about, you have this. I love the emoji that you chose for this week on the document, and it says Richie's reading rainbow, and then it has a rainbow emoji.
There's a rainbow. Yeah.
Thank you for adding that little detail. That was
I miss
fun.
reading Rainbow. The kids these days don't know how good we had it back in the day.
Kids these days don't know how to read. Like, tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, probably not. I just want to shout out the book I started reading. I'm like a chapter in, so I'm working my way through it. But anyway, this book was actually recommended kind of by Hannah Einbinder because she had it in her like story a couple months ago, and I was like, I jokingly sent it to you, and I was like, oh, this is me coded or whatever, because I was like,
is this the one that you said that you were gonna download for SDCC trip, and that you were gonna like ignore me the whole time and just put on the audiobook?
yes.
He didn't do that, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
did not do that because the audiobook's not available. Like you had to there's so many requests on the audiobook at the library that it was backlogged, so I couldn't even do that.
Oh,
I had to pivot to the actual book, which is this one. It's called Vulture, Capitalism, Corporate Crimes, Backdoor Bailouts, and the Death of Freedom by Grace Blakely. So I started reading this last night, and I recommend it. The great thing about this is that like you read a lot of books about, capitalism and our current economic functioning system around the world, really. And it's like very intense economics, and it's a little hard to understand.
Sure.
This one, she does a great job of explaining everything and explaining the verbiage and explaining kind of and giving examples of of a lot of the terms used to describe like what exactly capitalism is, and um highly recommend, highly recommend. The first couple chapters were about Boeing, how bad Boeing is, and how
Okay.
they over the last, yeah. So if you want to get pissed off at the airlines, read this book. Like I said, I'm a
So they should
chapter.
stock that in every airport.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm a
Yeah.
chapter in. I'm a chapter in. The next chapter is called The United States of Fordlandia, about Ford
Ooh.
Motor Company. So yeah, check that out. That's
All
one of the
right.
books I'm. That's one of the books I'm reading right now. I'm still working my way through Onyx Storm.
Mm.
So almost done with it. I have about 150 pages left, so we're almost done with
Should
that one.
I request that other one from my library and then we can do like book club?
Oh, this one?
Hannah's book club? No, Vulture Capitalism. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like I'm not starting with the fourth book in that series or whatever. Like that would be crazy. Just plopped straight into it. Be like, cool. I don't know who any of these people are. There's a dragon though, I think.
Yeah, yeah. That'd be
Yeah.
hilarious actually if you did that.
Just
But
yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna get invested in it at all, but it would be I think it would be funny to have the perspective, like somebody who has zero context or zero perspective for any of it, just try to be like,
yes.
I don't know what's happening here.
Um it's like a TV show, like jumping in into a midway through point of the TV show and you don't really know what's happening and then you just go back and
Sure.
watch.
Yeah, what would be the funniest thing to do that with? I would say, huh. I mean, any of those like massively long seasoned CW shows would be funny to like. Can you imagine jumping into Arrow at like the fifth season?
Mhm.
You're like, wait a minute,
Right.
I've missed so much.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But some shows and movies you could totally do that with. Like Fast and the Furious, I don't think linearly it really makes any difference where you start. It's still about cars.
Yes.
We talked about the Saw franchise last week. You start with any Saw, doesn't
Right.
matter.
Yes.
You could start on nearly any season of The Office or like Parks and Rec, save for some of the late ones, I guess.
Mhm.
And it would still be fine.
Right.
You could survive without context on that.
Right.
The Twilight movies, jump in wherever, jump out wherever.
Or just skip them completely because
Hunger
they're
Games
just a waste of
impossible
time.
though. Hunger Games impossible because there's so much happening there.
Yeah.
Like backstory, that's the impossible level. You can't just jump in on that one. You got to go start to finish there.
I can see
Otherwise,
that.
none of it makes any sense. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's been a while.
I can see that.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen that. Okay.
What about are you?
We
What about
have.
like? I thought you were all. I always considered you to be a bigger reader than me. I thought at least.
Yeah.
Nothing in the Goodreads. Nothing to.
No, I haven't been using Goodreads. I haven't been. I was gonna say like usually I read more over the summer, but like in season I do read a fair bit because when it's like 6 a.m. and there's nothing happening except me to sit out and supervise and watch water noises, like it's a decent time to crack a book and read it. So I'll probably get back into that because I was busy this summer.
Yeah. Here you go.
I
Yeah.
just didn't have a
Read
lot
it.
of time to get back
Nothing
into it.
better to start your day than reading
Vulture
about
capitalism.
vulture capitalism.
Right. Yeah. I'll definitely start with that. Nothing like vulture capitalism to brighten your day. The Hannah Einbinder book club. Can we just like we gotta just like get a list from her.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go into speaking of capitalism, let's go into something I spent too much money on this week. Crazy. This was you sent me that TikTok. I think it was yesterday or maybe the day before that was like the hallmark of a Sagittarius is just doing something absolutely crazy and out of pocket and then somehow gleaning experience and life lessons from it. I'm
Yes.
not sure I buy that much into the astrology thing. I get it. Okay, I get it. You and I recently found out that we have the same moon sign, I believe. You're a Virgo moon.
Correct.
Yes, you and I found this out. I don't know what that means or how it contributes to our collective idiocy, but I'm not sure I buy into it because I guess I am a cusp sign because I think the changeover is like the December 21st or something and I'm the
Mm-hmm.
20th. So I have aspects of both Sagittarius and Capricorn question mark. Girlies help me out here. I don't know a thing about my chart. But I've always been told that Sagittarius are like kind of hot-headed, like like quick temper and impulsive. I'm not so sure that I'm like super impulsive. I'm patient at least. I'm patient at least. I'm it's hard to make me angry. So
Girls,
I think
some of the things that we've decided to do together
sure,
may
but
be a little
that's
impulsive.
collective. That's collective impulse. Maybe that's the Virgo moon that we share. But I'm like I think that's the thing that pushed me away from it is like Sagittarius are very like hot-tempered and that according to astrology, that doesn't seem to be me. I think it takes a lot to make me angry. I kind of just vibe with it. But I did relate to this TikTok that Richie sent me because I did have a crazy experience and just decide to sort of go and do that and then gain life experience from it. If you haven't been following along, last week I think I disclosed this all happened very suddenly. It was like that meme of the girl stepping up the steps, and it was like each step is labeled something different, like plane, hotel, transportation, concert ticket, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's stepping over all the steps. I think it might be I don't know. This person is stepping over all of the steps and putting the foot directly on concert ticket while skipping the entire rest of the logistical chain. That did occur. I went to Chicago to go see Tate McRae,
Back to
and
Chicago.
right. And my parents, I think, thought that I was the craziest person known to man for wanting to do this. They did. I would say that they allowed me to go. Well, that's not the case. Like I'm an adult and I could have just gone, but I would have had the absolute wrath of God upon me if my mom had pinged my location and found that I was in downtown Chicago without telling anyone. She would have thought I was kidnapped. That would be her very first thought. Like I would have got 19 missed calls and
Right.
3 FaceTimes, and there would actively be police units on the way to my location if I just didn't tell them that I went. So I did have to clear this. Cleared it, decided to go, drove up there Friday. Show was Friday night. You and I have done that drive twice, and it's fine, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty easy.
Yeah. Except when
Yeah.
you go down the Witch's Road at like 11:30 at night. But
To be
that's
fair, that was the first time I'd ever gone, and I think we went a really weird way, but but it was a formative experience. It was a rental car too, so I think that
yeah.
added to it as well. It
Yeah.
was like not my car, not it just I didn't know where we were going, but all I knew is that the map direction needed to take us as far redirected from Gary as humanly possible.
Yes.
So we ended up on this dirt road at midnight. It's a whole thing. Go back and listen to that episode if you want to. I think it was like early February. Anyway, didn't end up there. But every time that we've gone, I've gone a different way, which is funny. It's taken me a different way.
Mm-hmm.
It was mostly the same as when you and I went to Rosemont for Vatican.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd never really driven in downtown proper. Would not recommend it. Oh my God. Certainly would not recommend it. I did not meet a good driver there. I was constantly defensive driving because people were doing all kinds of crazy things. And I guess I understand it because Chicago has public transit. So I guess you don't need to have a car if you don't want one.
Mm-hmm.
And so people I think lose their minds a little bit about actual driving in Chicago. And I've not met a good driver on Dan Ryan. Don't don't come at me for this because either everyone around you is trying to kill you by going 15 miles an hour faster than you, or they're trying to get you killed by going 15 miles an hour under the speed limit. And it was my worst nightmare. And then I got on Lakeshore Drive and it was a whole thing. But I did get to experience what driving in downtown is like. And it's cool. There's a lot to see as far as that goes. And I had a lot of time to look while I was stuck in traffic. So that was interesting. But I texted you. I was like, I arrived at like, what, 3:30 or something. And I was probably planning on leaving at like 5 o'clock. Like, I just can't imagine going back out in that again. So soon. It's been so much. And I did it and it was fine. The parking at the venue, which was at the United Center, and it was totally easy. And I was one of the first people out. And I like scurried to my car, and I think it probably took me a half hour to get there and like 15 minutes to get home. Yeah. Because I went the long way going in, and then as I was going the long way, I was collecting intelligence on what a shorter way would be to leave. Found the shorter way on the way out. We're good. Then let's see. Who else was I? I wasn't really keeping anybody appraised of this. So the only thing that I said was that I was going. I didn't disclose any more information until I disclosed to you pictures of where I was sitting. Uh-huh. I think you were a little mad at me for holding out on you about that. For dramatic effect.
No, I wasn't mad. But I was shocked. I was like, "Oh shit, that's cool. You got center floor. That's a great view. That's a great view." And that's all you sent me. I was like, "Cool, that's awesome. That'll be fun." And then you hit me with the follow-up.
Yeah, I did. I hit you with the follow-up. So it was, what did I send you? I sent you the picture and you said center floor W, and I was like, oh, I forgot. And then it was, if I'm tracked to my left, it was the B stage was right there, and you said you held on me. And then sent me like 5 W's and 5 lizard emojis, and I was just laughing at my phone the whole time while that was occurring. They were just rolling in. I was like, I get it, girl.
Can we step back? Can we rewind for a moment?
Yeah.
You went to the merch booth and you tried to buy me some booty shorts, but not in my size.
That was the sitch. And I was there early. I'll tell you, I was there as early as they would allow to be. I got there at like 5:30, and doors were opening at 6, and our gate specifically, you're told we had to go in through a specific gate, and that didn't get moving right at the same time as everybody else. But I mean, I must have been upstairs to merch by like 6:15, and they were already out of smalls in the shirt that I wanted. So I was like, okay, let me see what a medium might look like. She's like, okay, cool. We're actually also out of medium. So I had to pivot, go to my second choice shirt. You can kind of see her like peeking out above my name over here. And then it's got all the tour dates on the back, which is like the best part of a concert shirt is like seeing your date and your city on the back. And yeah, the booty shorts were only in a 2XL. So I texted you. I was like, hey, do you think this will work? Just to confirm. And I think you said something along the lines of like, no, but like we could probably each have a leg in the 2XLs.
Yeah.
We could. Yeah. It's like the get along shirt, but it's the get along Miss Possessive booty shorts. Episode title. Yeah. It's that would have been something. I called dibs on the right leg, I think, the right cheek.
You did.
They were also $50. So if they had been cheaper, okay, if they had been cheaper, I might have actually bought it for the bit. Just, just to see if like it would actually be funny. But I wasn't willing to spend $50 on the bit. I already spent
Why
too
are we
much
spending?
on this
We
bit.
have spent way too much time talking about butts on this show. We talked about
this is the butt episode.
We talked about the Tate ass from at the beginning of the show.
Tay butt.
And now we're talking about booty shorts. What the hell's wrong with us, y'all? Jesus.
No ifs, ands, or buts with 2 T's. I'm just saying they're funny. They're funny branded merchandise. Last week we talked about the Catherine Hahn rhinestoned naughty velvet pants. Was it
Yes.
velvet? It's velour. I think is velour is the proper crushed velour. I'm not sure. I'm not an expert. It's like the Juicy Couture material. You
Yeah.
guys know what I'm talking about if you're old enough. And if you're not old enough, why are you here? Anyway, I don't even know where I was. Okay, so went to my seat on the floor. I will let me admit something to you because I didn't tell you this part of the arrangement is that the seat that I bought was on the floor and it was next to the B stage. So that part is true. But the picture that I took that I sent to you from where I was sitting, that was not my seat. That seat was 4 rows in front of where I was supposed to be sitting and directly on the aisle. The reason that I went there is because as I was walking in the door to the venue, those seats were on sale for $900 a piece, right?
Yeah.
I was like, there's not a soul who's going to be buying these, right? And they
Yeah.
were on all the resale sites. I was like, I, we hate resellers. We talk about this.
Yes.
I'm like, I'm not about to let some dude fork a profit over. So I'm just going to go sit in that seat and see if anybody comes and sits there.
Right.
And like, best case scenario, I get an upgrade on a ticket I already bought. I was already on the floor. It wasn't like I wasn't supposed to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'll just cheat. I'll just cheat and sneak up. And I cheated and I snuck up, and there was nobody in the seat next to me. And I was there until 5 minutes before the opener came on, who is Zara
Mm-hmm.
Larson. Zara Larson is incredible, by the way. She sings that symphony song that went viral on TikTok a little while ago with the picture of the dolphin, was like, I
Mm,
think we made one for our account.
maybe.
Anyway, people had blow up dolphins in the crowd for when she sang that song, and it was really funny. Anyway, off track. But I was in that seat until like 5 minutes before the opener, and then people came up and literally did have tickets to those seats. So I'm sorry for if you paid $900 to sit there, because that could not be me. So I had to move. So I moved back to my original seat that I bought, which was like 4 rows behind that. And I was not directly on the aisle, which is important to note for the information that is forthcoming. I had somebody to my left that was directly on the aisle. And she didn't like come by herself. She came with friends, but the friends had tickets in front of us because she bought her ticket later or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So, like, technically she was kind of a solo flyer, but not really. Shout out Gloria. That's my homegirl. We just met. We just met. We were like taking videos together. It was so fun. She was great. She's also 21, and I felt like Unk the entire time for being there. I'm like, oh God, I took PTO. I didn't take PTO, I just wasn't scheduled. But it's like I felt like Unk on the floor with all these like 20-year-olds. The crowd was so sweet. Like everybody I met was so nice and so friendly, and we were all just chatting and like hyping each other up and taking each other's pictures, being like, I love your outfit and the whole thing. I've seen people talking about how the crowds at these shows are like mean girl crowds. I certainly did not have that experience. So that was good as well. And yeah, we were vibing out to Zara Larson, and she's really good. She has a new album coming out soon if you're at all interested. Great opener as well. You and I have talked before on the show about having good openers and having bad openers as far
Yeah.
as like channeling the energy toward what the headliner artist is going to bring, and she was great in that regard. You might know, yeah, you probably know some of her older songs. Like she did Lush Life. You would know it if you heard it. Because it was like on the radio a lot years ago. Years ago when you and I were less unk.
Less unk.
Less unk, less gramps.
Wait, can I make the joke I made in our TikTok or on the
Yeah.
TikTok? And yeah,
Yes.
you shared it on your
Please.
story, and I shared it too.
Hmm.
I need to put on my thing. So you said something along the lines of just like you said, like, oh, I am unk, and I said, girl, if you're unk, that means I'm Gramps,
Hmm.
which is true.
Well, yes. What did you say? You said, and I was like, well, when we're together, I feel like that balances out a little bit better. And you said, I think I don't look a day over 27. I was
That's
like,
correct.
wait, how old does that make me? Uh, I was having a little existential crisis over there. Um, I was Benjamin buttoning.
But yeah, I said what is true, which is like you get ID'd everywhere you go
Mm-hmm.
because you
Yeah,
look
nobody
younger than you
believed
are.
me. Nobody believed me when I told him how old I was. I was like, I should just stop opening my mouth and telling people that because I'll assimilate better if I don't. I'll camouflage better if I don't tell people how old I am because they just assume that I'm in the right age bracket for this.
Yeah.
Which
Yes.
I will tell you was all over the place. There were like middle school girls there with their
Mm-hmm.
parents, and then there were, people my age and older, and like there were some people that probably brought their grandparents based on the age of some folks in the audience. But very fun, very varied. Very varied. Wow, that's a tough one. Alliteration there. But okay, going back. Which is why I will say that it was divine intervention that I did not get these seats that the resellers posted, because moving back 4 rows, and this is not a thing I could have known until I actually got there, with moving back 4 rows put me and my new bestie Gloria directly in the path of the entrance and exit for the B stage,
Mm-hmm.
to the point where we were like almost on the tape marker that they used to like mark off the floor and where the lines could be and where people could stand and such. And because I didn't know I was going to this tour, I had seen a little bit of content about it beforehand, and I did know that she does a little bit of a, it's not like a barricade walk necessarily, but she does do a little walk through the crowd after the B stage on the way back up to the main stage. But there were at least 3 or 4 different paths that she could have taken.
Right.
And all of us that were close to the aisle that way, I think were sweating, trying to figure out, like, is she going to go past us? And the way that she came in was through a tunnel. I'm like, you could very well take her back out that way up to the main aisle and around. That way she doesn't have to like walk through the actual floor sections. We don't know. We have no idea what's going to
Mm-hmm.
happen. And she finishes up on the main stage, and it's like, I think it was during Siren Sounds, and they do this big extended outro with this awesome guitar solo. So fun. And the lights go down, and we know that she's coming back to the B stage at this point, but we have no idea where she's coming from and what angle it was. And then just out of the crowd, it's like she manifested out of the crowd and just appeared through this tunnel and went through and just like really quickly went through the first time to get onto the B stage. And I think that was the point in time that I told you, I think I used this exact phrase, that I astral projected, because my soul left my body. I was like, this is so straight. There's moments at a concert, and I'm sure that you can also vouch for this, where it's like you just kind of sit there and you're like, this is actually happening. I'm actually here, like having this experience. And it kind of settles in a little bit, and it happened in that moment to the point where I like dissociated for the entirety of Green Light. I was like, oops, I do love this song, but like I came back to my body and nostalgia was happening. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. The B stage set was awesome. It was a bunch of the older cuts that I think I put on your Richie homework playlist,
Mm-hmm.
for the most part. And people loved it. The folks that were around me all loved it. It wasn't, it was a good indicator of like who had really only heard the songs that went viral on TikTok
Mm-hmm.
and the people that had actually tried a little bit to listen to the catalog. It was a good divider there, as far as that goes. But we got some real good up close time with the B stage. And then she goes to leave the B stage, and it is the most horrifying thing because it's almost worse when you know when it's going to happen. And we all were aware that it was happening during Run for the Hills. So when the opening of Run for the Hills starts, my stomach immediately goes straight into my ankles because I'm like, I know that this is happening, but we don't know which way she's going yet. So she starts coming down from this giant lift, and we're all freaking out about which direction she's going to go. Comes out the B stage, and goes right past me and my new friend Gloria, who was really nice because she let me like squeeze in directly next to her so that I could also like lean out and try and get a high five when Tate walks by. She didn't have to do that. That was her seat that she paid the same amount as me for. But she did. She let me squeeze in directly next to her, and sure enough, Tate came right over our direction, and we all got to give her a high five when she walked by. I think everyone was real respectful about it. I didn't notice anybody like grabbing or anything crazy like that, which is always like my worst fear secondhand. Is like, please don't grab the artist because they're not going to want to do this again if you do that. And I do have a video of it, which I think you put in the drive.
I have it ready.
We can share with the class. But again, I've watched this video 5,000 times since I took it, just to like remind myself that it happened and it was real and I was there. And I still don't necessarily believe it. So we can show it for the people. I hope this isn't too loud, by the way. I don't know what is It's incredible. It's incredible.
And now Jordan is exclusively eating ice soup.
Yeah, pretty much. But look, if you had told me I would have had that experience, I would have paid double what I paid for that. Just for, 2 seconds of artist interaction, which, tells you, I guess, what our concert life is like these days. But it was incredible. The show was incredible. I've read some reviews that are like so on how it was. I think both the reviewer for the show in Chicago and the reviewer for the show in Detroit the night after were like not entirely convinced, and I'm kind of upset about it. Like, were you at the same show that the rest of us were at? Because the biggest critique is like she just doesn't. They're saying, here's what they're saying. This is not what I'm saying. That she just doesn't have like the songs and the catalog yet to be playing this big of a show. Like it sold out. It sold out.
Such a bullcrap argument.
Miss or Mr. Reviewer, it sold out. All of the floor was sold out. Even the resale tickets I found were gone. And I would like to gently and carefully tell those writers to kindly shove off somewhere very far away from here. Substitute words there as you see fit. 'Cause like, look, I'll get your take on this, but in what mind is like Greedy not a massive hit? Is X's not a hit? Is Sports Car not a hit? Is Just Keep Watching not a hit? Like, even those songs. Yeah. And everybody knew those songs with every ounce of who they were, right? And even on the floor during the B medley, I didn't see a soul around not singing some of the older cuts, like You Broke Me First or She's All I Want to Be. I think the biggest cheer of the night probably was for Purple Lace Bra, As It Should Be. As It Should Be, Justice. Love that song to death. That's my ride or die. That was where I lost my voice, I think, because people were losing their minds. I almost said a swear word. So much of my video of that song is unusable. I sent you a little bit of it. Yeah. Because I don't want to talk about it. I do want to talk about it, but it was loud. It was loud. And I've been like seeing the discourse going around about who is, you've probably seen this chart, but it's like a Venn diagram with 3 sections. It's like who's a vocalist, who's a performer, who's a songwriter. And people are like sorting these artists into the Venn diagram. And for what it's worth, I usually see Lady Gaga in the middle, which I think is funny to me personally. But like, I have not seen a performance like this, me personally. Like, most artists do choreography, but not like this. And to have a show that had that amount of, what's the right word? Like, physical intensity, as well as the production, as well as the vocals, like, I think that's where it really set itself apart. And I don't understand what those reviewers were on about, because the catalog might not be super deep yet, but it's gonna get there. And the fact that she's already selling out arenas and like an international tour on her third album at 22 years old, like the status quo should be very afraid because it's gonna get shaken.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. She genuinely seemed to be having fun the whole time, which I also think is like, it's fun to see that when an artist is having fun on stage. It brings you back into it. And like, no shade to Taylor, because she talked about this on New Heights, that like doing a 3-hour show essentially means that you're performing on top of this giant computer and you have to hit every mark, and there's no room for error.
Yeah.
There's no room for improvisation. Same thing a little bit with Gaga's show, but I loved the bits in this where there was a little bit more space to breathe and a little bit more time, and you could just tell that she was having fun. She was like
Yeah.
smiling at the crowd and interacting with fans, and it was like very, very personable and just like very human. I think like less robotic than a lot of artists are, where they just want to like go out there, do the set, leave.
Yeah.
And that's always my favorite bit of the show is, you know, when they will just sit down at a piano or sit down and do a stripped set or, you know, whatever it is and interact with the fans. And I hope that she doesn't lose that touch as she gets a little bigger. Because I think that's what, one, makes new fans,
Right.
and two, keeps them coming back throughout the years. So all of this to say, you should go if you get the chance, if you're listening to this. I've never been to a bad concert, I don't think, but this was like up there for sure, about one of my favorites. Even though I got tarred and feathered by the confetti at the end. This is the last story I wanted to tell. It was like perilously because of my proximity to the confetti cannons that were stationed at the B stage. When those things went off, it was like World War II. Like I just could not see. There was white confetti all over my being. Like when I was in the hotel room and I was changing, I shook some out of my shirt and out of my bra that had like stuck to my body. And I was like, how did this even get in there? There just was not that much room, but there were like 2 pieces of confetti like on the floor. That was also fun, is just to, there was like a little girlhood happening at the end of the show where it was like the folks in the lower bowl that like didn't get confetti were like yelling at security, like trying to get some. They were like, you know, scoop some up for us. I was like, girl, I got you. So I was there, I was on the floor like handing out handfuls of confetti to all of these kids that were in like the 100 level or whatever it was before I left. And it was just like the funniest little girlhood moment. Yeah. I have lots of Taylor confetti on my shelf. I do have some Tate confetti if you'd like some. I have some extra.
I think I have plenty. There's I think there's, this is Taylor confetti, but I think there's 21 piles.
Yeah. You sent me Ned confetti one time from
I did. Yeah.
one of the, I don't remember if it was Icy Tour or if it was what did they call it? Takeover? Yeah, I don't remember.
This must have been from Ice. I think it was from Icy Tour. Yeah. Because I think I was on the floor for that show, so I was able to snag some.
Yeah, I have some multicolored Ned confetti still at my apartment. Yeah. All right, I've yapped long enough. I'm good. I've said my piece. Please go see Tate. She's incredible. Tracks of the week. Any new picks for you?
I think it's the mutual choice for us, which is Drum Show. Yeah. Banger.
I would
Banger
agree.
song.
Just came out yesterday at the time that we're recording this, and incredible. It's certainly a new sound than anything we've heard from them lately. I was worried when the snippet came out that it was gonna sound like a copy of Navigating or like a copy of next semester. Yeah, with the bass line there, I was a little concerned, but it's very different. I feel like there's more, I don't know the right word for this, but like Tyler's going into his upper range a lot more in the first 2 songs that have been released for this. It's like there's a width to his vocals that we haven't heard a lot, other than in the live shows, obviously, but on previous records, and I love that. And we got Josh vocals.
Josh Goals.
We love Josh Goals. I was going to call it Jokels, but I feel like the Muna fandom already adopted that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, Tyler tweeted out Jokels, Once again, if we had $1 for every band that we listened to that had jokels,
Chocles.
we'd have $2.
Yeah. It's not a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
I saw somebody tweet this out today, and they were saying, and I hope this happens, which is, they were like, I hope Muna on their new record pulls a Boy Genius, and they have a track where we get all three of them get a verse.
Mm-hmm. I would love that. Muna 4.
Muna 4.
Muna 4.
We're already
Muna
speaking
4
of,
with the number 4. It just flows so well.
yeah.
Please,
Speaking of impromptu decision making, this decision's already been made that we're gonna go to a Muna show together, and we're already working on my outfit because you sent me this week. So,
well, it's sadly going to be missing the Miss Possessive 2XL booty shorts,
correct.
but I think we can work around it. I really do. We will overcome.
There was a hat that you sent me. What did it say? I forget exactly what it's like. I was like, I don't know if I can wear this.
I don't remember what it said. It was. I don't remember what it said. It wasn't like I think it might have been like world's greatest lesbian or something, but then we were like, you have to put ally at the end of it.
Yes.
So that you don't get beat up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it was something of that nature.
Yeah.
I still think that you should get some chaotic merch just to like hang in there with the crowd, but you can borrow my Muna carabiner. I'll allow it. That'll put you right in with the girlies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on. Let me see. Hang on. Muna.
It's like we need something to signal that this is a safe space. This over 6 foot tall man is a safe space.
Where's their
He's
website?
been barricaded, Julian Baker. He's safe.
We're good.
He's been at
here
Lucy Dacus. He's safe.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Shop.
Which band did this come from? Was it from the Beaches? Or was it from the Aces? I get those two confused.
That's a great yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, here I love men shirt.
The I love men shirt that's like and it's like all their names. It's like Josette, Katie, and Naomi.
Yeah.
I saw one of those at Tate, by the way, and then somebody had crossed out the N, so it just said I love me, and I'm like, honestly, vibe.
Oh yeah, the shirt you want me to get is the Become Gay Gayotic shirt.
I think that's funny. It's a great shirt. I'm trying to find it. I can't track it down either for the life of me. I don't know why I get those confused, but I don't know. I sent you something.
Yeah.
You'll just have to take our word for it that it was a funny hat, but it would have required a little bit of modification for Richie specifically.
Yes.
Not according to our Uber driver in Chicago that one time. I still think about that guy. I really do. That was a formative experience. And you should also go back and watch it. So you could go back and watch that episode and be caught up on The Witch's Road, I think, again, and then be caught up on.
Well, yeah,
they were separate trips.
Yeah, but
I do think we
the
talked
story.
about it.
We explained. Yeah.
If you go back and find that episode, you'll get the Uber driver from Chicago that was wild in, and you'll get the Witch's Road, and then you can probably go back and find the original Witch's Road episode. Because weird things happen every time we're in Chicago, so I think we just need to keep going back, is the short of it. All right. That's enough.
It always rains when I go there, so.
It does. I'll come to you next time. It didn't rain last time I was in your neighborhood.
Yes. Correct.
Yeah. All right. You can follow us at OHOBC Pod wherever you get your social media, wherever you get your Tate McRae content, and everything else that you love about the internet. I don't know what episode we're on, but like, see you for the next one, I guess. I think we're on 79.
This is 79.
Perfect. So we'll see you all for episode 80. Yeah, that's good, right? I don't know how to do outros. Let's just cut it before I make this worse.